Welcome back, dear viewers. Today, we embark on a journey through ink-stained pages, digital bytes, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Our topic: freedom of the press and media censorship. As we unravel this complex tapestry, remember that an informed society is a powerful one. Freedom of the press, the very oxygen of democracy. It's more than ink on paper, it's the right to breathe life into stories, to question authority, and to hold the powerful accountable. But let's peel back the layers and examine the challenges faced by those who wield the pen. Every keystroke, every camera click, journalists risk their lives to bring us the truth. In 2022, 67 journalists lost their lives globally while pursuing stories. Let's meet some unsung heroes. Dom Phillips, a British journalist who worked for The Guardian and The Washington Post, among others. He was killed in June 2022 while reporting on illegal fishing and poaching in the Amazon rainforest with indigenous expert Bruno Pereira. Leo Veras, a Brazilian journalist and editor of the website Porá News, which covers crime and corruption on the border with Paraguay. He was shot dead by two masked men in February 2020 outside his home in Ponta Porã. Patricia Campos Melo, a Brazilian journalist and reporter for the newspaper Folha de São Paulo. She was harassed, threatened, and sued after exposing a scheme to spread fake news and misinformation during the 2018 presidential election. Investigating corruption, human rights abuses, environmental crises, and political scandals puts them in the crosshairs. Imagine a pen shattered by a clenched fist. Violence against journalists, especially women, is a grim reality. Their courage often comes at a steep price. Daniele Simões, a Brazilian journalist and reporter for the website Folha de Regio, which covers local news in Aracatuba. She was attacked and injured by a city councillor in July 2020 after asking him about allegations of misuse of public funds. Rubens Valente, a Brazilian journalist and author of the book Os Fuzis e as Flechas, The Rifles and the Arrows, which exposes the violence and genocide suffered by indigenous peoples in Brazil. He was ordered to pay $310,000, $60,000, in damages in 2020 for allegations involving Supreme Court Justice Gilmar Mendes. Censorship, the silent assassin of truth. In democratic societies, the First Amendment guards against government interference in the press. But globally, governments control narratives, suppress dissent, and manipulate information. China's Great Firewall, a digital barricade that filters out dissenting voices, erasing Tiananmen Square from search results. Turkey's crackdown, journalists jailed for reporting on Kurdish rights violations. Their words silenced. Let's zoom in on Brazil. A vibrant democracy with a cacophony of voices. Yet media freedom faces challenges. Jair Bolsonaro, the far-right president of Brazil, who has repeatedly attacked, insulted, and mocked journalists and media outlets that criticize his government or report on the COVID-19 pandemic. Arthur Lira, the current president of the Chamber of Deputies in Brasilia, who has sued several websites and YouTube channels for publishing stories featuring his ex-wife, who accused him of domestic and sexual violence. Brazil ranks 107th out of 180 countries in the World Press Freedom Index. Let's take a look at India, a country with over 1.4 billion people and more than 17,000 newspapers. India has a rich tradition of journalism and a lively public sphere. However, it also faces threats to media freedom from various sources. Sedition law, a colonial-era law that criminalizes any speech or action that incites disaffection against the government. It has been used to arrest, harass, and intimidate journalists who criticize the authorities or report on sensitive issues such as Kashmir, farmers' protests, or communal violence. Internet shutdowns. India has the dubious distinction of being the world leader in internet shutdowns, with over 450 instances since 2012. Internet shutdowns are often imposed to prevent the spread of misinformation, maintain public order, or curb dissent. However, they also hamper the ability of journalists to access and disseminate information online. Online harassment. Journalists, especially women and those from marginalized communities, face online abuse, trolling, and threats for their work. Online harassment can have a chilling effect on free expression and can lead to self-censorship or even physical attacks. India ranks 142nd out of 180 countries in the World Press Freedom Index. Journalists and online critics are targeted, prosecuted, and sometimes silenced. We must ask, how can we safeguard press freedom while addressing legitimate concerns? As creators, viewers, and citizens, let's champion freedom of the press. It's about future.